Imagine 30 years ago you had the best date of your life. There was booze, laughter, flirting, maybe some saucy shenanigans. But this date, it was so amazing, you keep thinking back to it. Maybe too much, because every date since has been underwhelming. Well, my friends, that's what my life has been like since first playing Sega Rally on the Saturn. Immediately smitten I was, captivated by perfection and hopelessly, wonderfully addicted. Sure, I've tried to find new love since then. Colin, Dirty Gertie, that French girl that took my V-plates. But it's always disappointment, a quick dirty fumble maybe, and then back home to my cats. And if this sounds like you, I think I can help. Because I've realised playing new games is a lot like dating. You need to be clear what you want. Be honest if it works. And so I've come up with a guide, a manual for gaming romance, and I call it The 8 Simple Rules for Beating Sega Rally. And today we're going to try it out on our first potential match. See if anything can steal our hearts like Sega and give us thrills like
Sega Rally Championship.
And today's date is a saucy young filly that I've met on Game Pass, a tasty little minx called EA WRC 23. So, your date walks in. What is rule number 1? Is she fun? No one wants a first date to tell you slavishly about their work or chores or sensible things like that. You want excitement and laughs and an immediate wonderful connection. And wow, is that Sega Rally's strong point? It's immediately playable, full of new exciting ideas with slides and jumps and hairpins and compact, jostling, feisty competition. It's Rally, but told Sega's way with playful, wonderful flourishes that let you know this beauty's out for a good time. And what about EA's effort? Well, WRC chucks it all at you. It's chock full of tracks and settings and cars. It's all set up so you can let rip with a roaring, squealing wail of a 235 brake horsepower Ford Fiesta burning off your ears. But it's a lot of okay bits without any real wow factor. Nothing really lands, or nothing really stirs the soul or makes you smile. It's kind of like if you had a date who had loads of stories and she tells you them really excitedly and you want to listen and you want to find them fun, but they're all about work or shoes or an ex she had called Gary who used to be a traffic warden, and after a while you just don't know why she keeps going on when there's nothing fun to say. I'm sorry, EA, but it's a big no in the fun stakes. So rule 2, do you enjoy getting to know her? Now, there's nothing wrong with complexity. We need a bit of depth in our relationships, but up front, they need to let you in. You need to want to know more. And Sega Rally is classically an open book. 3 short tracks have you racing in minutes, and you feel an immediate spark. Just herring about and having a laugh, but then somehow before you know it, you're getting to know its intricacies and secrets and hidden depths, and boom, it's a long-term committed relationship. And the point is, that process is fun and you want to do it. But it's not how most rally games work. Rally courses are long and winding and intricate. There's a lot to them, but for all their cliffside hairpins, there's also often soulless stretches of gravel. They can be less than the sum of their parts. It's like if your date had a really interesting job, like being a spy or being an astronaut or something, but all of their stories were about how the office photocopier kept breaking. WRC 23 definitely has breadth. Huge courses through snowy mountains and beautiful forest scenes and intricate corners, chicanes, cliff edge drama, but it's all just there. It's just identikit track design, and none of it has any real character. You won't remember any of those hairpins because they all feel the same. There's a lot to get to know, it just isn't fun getting to know it. Okay, rule 3, and this is a personal one, but wow, it's a big deal if you're going to be living with that date forever. So rule 3 is, does she have a nice voice? And of course, Sega Rally does, because it sounds a little bit like this. But, you know, WRC is an EA published game, so surely it's chock full of its own pop culture bangers, and this is going to be one area where the game can really hold its own, you know? But nope. So, rule 4 then. Is your day memorable? And for this, I'm just going to ask you 2 questions. Number 1, what are the 3 cars in Sega Rally? And number 2, can you name any 3 cars you've seen in this WRC footage so far? And if your answers are Toyota Celica, Lancia Delta and Stratos, and answer 2, I haven't got a fucking clue mate, then you're getting the same vibe I am. Give your game some goddamn character, EA, or I'll have forgotten it before I've even hit uninstall. Rule 5. And here, beauty is in the eye of the beholder because, yes, you want to fancy your date. Does she look nice? And of course, Sega Rally is a bit older now. She's got a few texture issues, some wonky edges. Sometimes, admittedly, you just have to kind of close your eyes and enjoy how it feels. But she's still a beauty. And WRC? Well, there's no denying she's a looker. 120 frames a second, high fidelity rendering, detailed, intricate scenery. I mean, hell, if I was sat across from her, I'd be punching. But let me give you a choice. Monica Bellucci or one of the hot 20-somethings from Love Island. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, my friend, and frankly, you can stick your DLSS up your tailpipe. Now, rule 6 is a funny one. Do you picture your future together? See, Sega Rally gave me a love of rally. On computers, in real life, on the telly, in my first ever Ford Fiesta down the country lanes near home, on that memorable track day with work where I snapped the axle off a Ford Focus and sent the tyre spinning across the hospitality area and our guests. It bonded me with the sport, even if the game itself was an arcade-style fantasy. But that's fine. You don't plan your future on a first date. You bond over values and then you go from there. And WRC 23 seems to value some pretty weird things for a video game. Realism, detail, planning, accuracy, Jesus, I don't know, admin. I felt driving this like if I actually had to run a real rally team in real life and deal with the stress of really mending my car and having a puncture and working my way up through some bullshit junior league for no money, and then I'd probably enjoy WRC as some light-hearted relief. But as I don't, and I just want to have fun ragging an OP hatchback around a muddy forest, I don't really want to pretend I've got a boring job managing budgets. Rule 7 is often forgotten, but it's really important to some. Will she get on with your mates? See, multiplayer in a rally game is a big deal. Racing is competition, and competition is always better when it's with your mates. Sega Rally is brilliant in 2-player. Admittedly, it's a bit hard to see on the split screen, but God, it's bloody addictive, and I've spent many hours looping every track with our mate Lartons, absolutely deadlocked, but loving every second. And WRC, well, it offers online multiplayer, which in theory is a big green tick. But in dating terms, that's the equivalent of going on Tinder and organising a gangbang with a load of strangers. It's just not the same when it's randoms. So let's move on to Rule 8. The last but not least, has she got moves? Because yeah, that first date's gone well. You've had some drinks, and now you're down a club, her handbag's on the floor and she starts to strut her stuff. And let's face it, if she's slinky and smooth, you're a happy camper. But it's a bit of a buzzkill if she looks like Peter Crouch's robot dance with a bad case of sciatica. And we know, if you're playing a Sega arcade racer from the mid-90s, that it's got moves. Sega Rally's power slide on mud, on gravel, on road, and it's simply one of the best in the business, so any modern racer has got its work cut out. And look, WRC isn't that. It's a workhorse, not a show pony. It drives in a functional way, with a certain satisfaction in correctly executing its method, a certain relief in getting around a corner without randomly careering into a tree, a certain sense that this would be fun if it were real, but somewhere in the quest for that reality, it ironically lost its sense of fun. It's a no love. get your coat. And so there we have it. 8 simple rules, 8 big fat no's to EA's WRC 23. It's not a bad game, I'm sorry, it's not a bad game. It's admirably crafted. It does have a lot of depth. It can be rewarding when it clicks, and even in brief glimpses, a tiny bit fun. But Sega Rally, it ain't. Arcade racing, it ain't. The new love of my gaming life, it ain't. So anyway, till next time, thanks for watching gaming guys and girls, and keep it locked here on Gaming for Ages for more retro goodness soon. Laters.